So with Isleweaver being done and over with and now waiting on that new update where we go to Tau, I decided to go ahead and start cutting out that list I have of all the Incarnons I haven't yet done a video on. So today I'm covering the Furis Incarnon. To me, it is a pocket Ignis, but a little better for me because I'm not a big fan of the Ignis. To me, it's an overhyped weapon, but I do get why people like it. The Ignis, in my opinion, feels very nice, especially since with one of its evolutions, you're allowed to build however you feel, as long as you have some form of electricity, be it from a pet, an ability, some other primer, anything of the sort. And the Furis has a faction mod, so you're able to get even more out of it, like more corrosion, and a little bit more lifesteal out of it, because, well, that's just nice to have. But this weapon is doing unbelievably well against some random 165s, I believe. Yeah, 165 Scaldra on Steel Path, so let's test this on an Acolyte, shall we? All right, and the Acolyte is spawning in, or should be spawning, and I swear I just saw it. Who are we getting? We're getting Violence, not a bad one. Where are they? There they are. I mean, not bad. I mean, granted, they did turn off all my abilities. I mean, the problem with it, I think, is that due to this being a status weapon, it's not going to do the best against, obviously, what is it? It's obviously not going to do the best against them, purely because they are, well, not status based. It crits better, but in the normal form, it does better. I mean, look at that. Not bad. But this is not a controlled setting, so let's head to the simulacrum so we can see a more controlled setting of how I built this, what the evolutions are, and what I recommend for the weapon. So I will see y'all there. All right, and here we are back in the simulacrum. So when it comes to using the Furis, I went with the select options because it is a status weapon at heart, but it can be used to crit, obviously, because it does get a good crit chance when it goes into its Incarnon form. So let's cover it. With Evolution 1, you obviously get the ability to use it as a flamethrower. With Evolution 2, you get the option of Heavy Foray and Storm Burst. Heavy Foray will increase your base damage by 28, and so will Storm Burst, but Heavy Foray will give you an increase of damage by 30 with Overshields, while Storm Burst, when you hit an enemy who is affected by an electricity status, you'll gain 40% multi-shot for 2 seconds, which stacks up to 3 times. Makes an amazing amount of multi-shot become part of your weapon. So we picked that one. When it comes to Evolution 3, you get 3 options. You get the Practice Grip, which gives you actually increased by 50%. Extended Volley, which will increase your base magazine by 25, and Executioner's Fortune, which on a headshot will give you a 10% chance for an instant reload. Now, when it comes to that option, it is quite nice, especially when you're in the normal form trying to get your Incarnon, because with that chance, you will just not have to reload, just keep shooting. So we picked that one. Finally, with Evolution 4, we get the options of Headcracker, Prelude of Might, and Elemental Balance. Headcracker will give you 5% fire rate for 2 seconds, which will stack up 10 times when you hit a headshot. The Prelude of Might, when you fire a shot with a crit chance lower than 40%, you'll increase your base crit damage multiplier by an additional 3x. So instead of having a 2, you would be at a 5, and instead of a 3.4, you'd be at a 6.4. But we go with Elemental Balance, so we increase our base status chance by 28% because the weapon already has really high status. Might as well build into it. Next, I'll showcase the build. And here we are with the build. So when it comes to using this build, you can notice I have a Riven. We'll cover that when we get there. So we have Galvanized Diffusion, Galvanized Shot, Lethal Torrent for more fire rate, and Multi-Shot Pistol Game for that crit chance, Pistol Pestilence, and Jolt for corrosive, and Heat. That comes from my Riven, but it gets an AT in its Incarnon form. You also notice I am using Winds of Purity. This is not required at all. You can run whatever you like. I like it because of the purity thing, restoring your health, increasing max health, and also applying corrosive all around you is quite nice, but you can replace it to be Prime Tart Cracker, Prime Convulsion if you want some even more electricity. You can go for an Expel mod, or you could run Pistol Elementalist. Now, when it comes to the Riven, my Riven is Heat, Multi-Shot, and Crit Damage. This is why I have such good crit damage, so I didn't need it. What you could probably replace this with is, like I said, crit damage, more multi-shot, or heat, depending on what you want. Or due to the fact that the first set of evolutions, you'll gain multi-shot on affect somebody with electricity. You can build for electricity and gas, which is not bad at all. And we're using Cascadia Flare. And if you went for the electricity one, you would use Conjunction Voltage, which is very nice. let's go test this on some 200 Steel Path enemies. All right, and here they are. They are level 200 Scaldra, and we are going to be using my Nautilus to proc my whole evolution. So, as you see, it does kill them quite nicely in the Furis form. And here we are fully charged. Let's go ahead and proc the Incarnon, and I mean, not bad. I know in the video I was, well, not in the video, sorry. Earlier in the video, I was using the abilities from Haro, but the whole point of using a weapon is to see how it works and then test it when you mix it with your Warframe and how it would function with them on top of that. And that's the whole point of this Haro. This Haro is my weapons platform, basically. I get hit and then I just mega crit. And I mean, look at those. These are level 200 Orican enemies that I just slaughtered, and I am using corrosive heat. So what if I did it against some Grineer? And eventually we'll be testing these all probably on Tau enemies or a prime Grineer if we end up fighting prime Grineer. Otherwise, who knows? But I mean, look at that. It shreds. It just chews through them like butter. It's a really good combination. But overall, what do I think about it? I'll tell you that when we get to the back rooms. And here we are in the back rooms. So what do I think of the Furis Incarnon? Well, when it comes to the Furis Incarnon, if I had to rate it to the other ones that I use in the secondary slot, which would be the Dual Toxicist, the Sicarus, the Despair, and Lex, to me, the Furis Incarnon is not a bad option. It is quite nice and strong. Would I replace it with like, I'd replace it with the Despair, because I find the Despair, you need to be more worrisome of where you're throwing because of the knockback, the knockdown, and all that. The Dual Toxis will forever be something I consider to be the best example of how an Incarnon should be. It took advantage of how the weapon functions itself and then amplified it even more. The Sicarus is okay. I would also use the Furis probably over the Sicarus. I think it just lacks a little in damage. I have not tried the Xylock yet. I don't think I'm going to like it all that much. And when it came to the Lex is nice. It's just really slow. So to me, the Furis outclasses all of them in a way, but is not better than the Little Toxis, but I think everybody knew that. Overall, it is a worthwhile pickup still in 2025, and it should be used. So, tell me what weapons you guys want to see down below. Other things like a melee weapon, a primary, another secondary. It's all dependent on what I've done. Check the videos in the playlist for more Incarnon videos and builds and stuff like that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.